Welcome to the No Filter Fitness of momswholift podcast, where we bring you real people, real stories, with an action plan to match your goals.
Yes, we're back with more exciting topics. Guess what? What's on everyone's mind? Which body part about yourself do you hate? Which body part, when you look in the mirror, your eyes go first to? Which do you have that body part? Let's talk about it.
You know what? You can just not look in the mirror all the time also.
Good. That's why, you know what I've been enjoying? I have zero mirrors. I don't have mirrors. I have
I
mirrors
have
in my, I
I
don't
have
have mirrors.
mirrors, but I don't stand there like trying to either one admire myself or two try to nitpick on things. You know what I mean?
But I usually, when
I
I'm
look
in
in
the
the mirror
gym,
if I need to like brush my teeth, fix my hair, maybe that's about it. All right. Welcome to episode 4 of Moms Who Lift. And today we're going to be talking about something that I think is very dear and true to us all. Me and Elle both, I'm sure, have experienced this multiple times throughout our lives. And so have you. And that is about, body image and being hyper focused on a certain body part. And I think to start off, I mean, I'll start, and if you don't mind, I'll start off kind of with my story and my journey, kind of how everything came about to me in sense of having some body image issues, as I was growing up, and and I think it's true to majority of the women is that as when we were younger, and especially for me when I was probably around 10 or 12, I picked up my first magazine, which was like teen magazine. And, I was skimming through it, kind of looking, just picked it up just to see what it is. And obviously you had the girl models there. They look perfectly flawless, in there. And and little by little, as all these magazines kind of, as I was reading the magazines, getting the different magazines from Teen to Vogue to, Cosmopolitan, whatever, all the magazines that were back then very, very big, and I'm sure they're still big now, but I would look through it and without understanding the magazines and what was portrayed in there was actually shaping my understanding of what beauty is and what a woman should look like. And I did have, early on issues in terms of like, hey, why is it that my legs, like I was so hyper focused on my legs, why are my legs bigger, right, than other legs? Like, why, like, I'm looking at these models, right, in these magazines that are supposed to be real women or real girls, and they all have these like perfect skin, flawless skin, the perfect teeth, the perfect hair, right? They're all like
this is
these
important.
beautiful
This is
bodies,
very
like
important.
they have beautiful bodies, like they have not a little lump, not a piece of hair, not nothing, right? And you're just looking at it and you're mesmerized and you're like, I'm supposed to look like this. Why don't I look like this? Like I'm very serious. This is how I felt. Even when I was young, and I know that because I was in middle school. I remember this feeling in middle school. I remember just looking at the magazines and trying to achieve this perfection that I was seeing in a magazine, right? And all of this has obviously carried over as I get older. And and I think what's been happening is a lot of this culture that has been kind of set on to women to have this false expectation of what beauty truly is. And a lot of times, without us even understanding, we start to compare ourselves to this unrealistic expectation and these unrealistic images, and obviously translate to body image issues. It translates to us wanting to diet to extremes, us never always keep pushing ourselves to a certain level that we think is going to make us happy because we think that we're going to look a certain way and it's going to be that's what we want. Do you know what I mean? And so at least that's for me. This has been kind of my story as to why what has happened to me, I think, in the past. And obviously, there's ways to go about it. I found so many different ways, and we'll talk about it. Obviously, kind of how I deal with it, and what has really helped me kind of to transition my mindset and understand that that's not reality of things.
I Okay, I'm chiming in my turn, right? We go from different perspective on body image issues. I didn't um, I didn't come to this as when I was a teenager because it was totally different when I was growing up. There was no magazines, thank God. There was no everyone was the same. I was from the Soviet Union, didn't come here until I was 19 years old, 18 years old. Honestly, came in here, had no idea what, what dieting or anything is. It was just always, just what my body can do. I was a runner, and I always enjoyed being athletic. Growing up, I mean, I remember when I was 13, I went through the age when I wasn't as athletic, but then I picked up tennis. I was actually playing tennis at first, and then I just kind of developed certain athleticism and appreciation for my body. Very, I don't remember any hyper focusing on any parts of my body or body as an image until I came here. When I came here, yes, the first thing that stares at me that everyone is just perfect, flawless. I mean, the teeth, the hair, just the whole like, how can everyone be so perfect and smile all the time and just look perfect? I mean, what do they do for living, or how could you be happy like this all the time? Am I supposed to be like happy like this all the time? So at any event, so very quickly I realized that in America, it's almost it seems like people that are better looking or put together better get a better car dealt. So I realized um what's the word? I caught on early enough that this is the thing. But then at the same time, and as I start my way in fitness, and just because as fitness became my job, I realized that a lot of people just they want to look that certain way, just like you said, Yana. I want to look like this. I want to, and usually it's not like I want to look like this model. I want to thinner legs. I want a smaller butt. I want a tighter, shoulder. I want a tighter, whatever. It's just always the body part. It is always something. I want a flatter belly. It's a lot of times it's flat belly, small, tight legs. Now people want skinny arms. That's the new thing, the skinny arms. But anyway, I know, right?
Mm-mm.
So, but it's always a body part. It is always a body part. So yes, hyper focusing on that body part is the issue. It's a problem. I think that I don't want to. People used to call something an epidemic, and I think finally they're gonna stop calling shit the epidemic. Yes, it's an issue, but come on, you can live with the arms that you don't like so much, right? But it
That's right.
nevertheless, it does. It definitely. I mean, I think in this where we're living now, certain things become less prevalent and less important, but nevertheless, they still need to be talked about because I mean they're still there. It's just because we are in clusterfuck. I mean we may not care as much about that particular body part, but it's still there. So I think that's important that we talk about. And I mean now that we shared how we came about it, let's talk about what can we do about it, or what we've seen people are doing about it, and what works, what doesn't, as far as we think. You're not.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. And so for me, like I'll go in kind of into my journey of what has helped me quite through, quite a lot, and my realization, and it really is, it really goes down to a person's journey, not, so like for me, when I was, like I mentioned, when I was younger, and I had this expectation, and it carried through with me for a very long time, even after, as I got older and I had kids, I still had this false expectation of, hey, I'm supposed to look a certain way, and in order for me to, let's say, look good in these jeans that are being modeled, right? I have to have these type of legs, right? Or I need to look a certain way in order to be able to be happy like this model right here, right? So when I started obviously my fitness journey, like e- I with I think with most women, and I'm going to say most because most women usually have their first goals are like, hey, I just want to lose weight, right? I want to lose weight, and they don't sometimes do not look deeper as to the reason why they're trying to lose weight. A lot of times it's, hey, I just want to lose it because I really want to look good in this dress. Or I have this party I need to go to and I need to look a certain way. And so I need to lose, this 10 pounds or this 20 pounds, right? So we never go down deep enough into ourselves as to the real reason why we're trying to lose the weight. And that's okay because when we do start our journeys, and I hope some of the women have the ability to really start to dig deeper down as to their reasoning, and it also comes down to who their coach was. And I was lucky enough obviously to have you as my coach, which which
At
which
some
is
point.
which is yeah. And then obviously yes, I transitioned into being my own, fitness became my own passion and my own, kind of my own thing as well. But at the same time, I did I got to learn from you, who is my mentor and who was my coach. And you did, you know what I mean? You allowed me to kind of dig deeper as to, hey, what's going on? Why are you trying to do these things? And you kind of, the idea is that I went through my own journey of wanting to have this, physique, what was getting into like physique, almost fitness, right? And I'm like, no, this is what I want because this is what I thought I want.
I remember.
Yeah. And so, the chasing these goals that I thought was what I wanted, but then realizing that these goals are not what I wanted kind of down the road is kind of where what what allowed me to really now understand that, it's okay to have bigger legs. These legs that I was chasing to have skinnier, it's okay that I have them bigger because my focus is not looking at how my legs look like. It's focusing on what my legs are going to do for me. And that is the biggest takeaway is like, hey, celebrate the small wins, celebrate what it is that your body does for you. You're a mom, you gave birth to, to kids. Like that's amazing. That's just, you should be happy with what you are able to do with
Right.
that. Obviously, yes, we want to look and feel better, right? And we want to lose that 10 pounds, but that 10 pounds again, or 20 pounds, is because you want to be able to, let's say, run with your kids. That's your maybe your deeper motivation. It's because you just want to, you want to feel lighter, and you want to kind of maybe pursue some sort of a fitness, some kind of a fitness goal. Like let's say you want to go and run a marathon or something. I don't know. Or, for me, it was getting into strength sports and really kind of pushing my limits, and, and trying out powerlifting. And that's something what I do. And, and the beauty, at least for me in my sport, and why I love powerlifting is it is it's a fitness based sport. It is all about your performance. It has nothing to do with your looks, nothing.
It's a
And
sport.
to it is a sport, right? And a lot, and it's and even it's still, even with some sports, it's very focused on how you look. But here it's all about performance, and it allows, at least it allowed me to understand that, hey, look at the wonderful things I can accomplish, right, with my body without being so,
Amazing things.
right, amazing things without being so hyper focused that, oh my gosh, my legs are bigger than the, this woman's legs. Big deal. I don't care. I'm proud of, of what I have because these legs are able to do what they do now. They've been able to carry me through so much, and yeah, I mean, it definitely has been kind of like an eye-opening, journey for me at least. And I think a lot of women who are going through these struggles can definitely relate. And they're kind of looking for probably also ideas like, what can I do? And I think the biggest takeaway is anytime you have a fitness journey, it's being focused almost like goal oriented, right? Al, we've talked about this
Yes.
before. It's and you can elaborate on the goal oriented fitness portion of it, but it's almost like looking at how much faster can I get, or how much stronger can I be.
Yes. Just finding something outside the aesthetics, finding something outside the look, and trying to develop that, or trying to let your mind ponder about that rather than ponder or why something looks a certain way. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. So the focus on the hyper focusing on the body part is it was, I guess, instilled in us since we were little, and it's slow, little by little, just like something that you said to me once, and I totally believe in that, and I've heard it before, but I read it before, but for some reason when you said it, it definitely sticks. We become our thoughts. We become what we think. So when you keep thinking it for days, months, years, at first you're like, no, no, but then you slowly realize that yes, it becomes it becomes the truth for us. It becomes our reality. And oh boy, when it becomes your reality, it's really hard. It's like it's habit. It's like people like they try to quit
Yeah.
smoking or quit drinking or quit whatever the fuck they're doing. They it's hard. I mean, it's not. I'm laughing, but it's hard. Same thing as hyper focusing on something. If it's been your habit to stare at that part of it, it's a
Hmm.
habit. So you gotta break the habit and using different techniques and not panicking about it. I also think that for myself, trying sometimes instead of just okay, I need to stop it. What am I gonna do to not to do it? What am I gonna do? I need. It's not healthy. Just just relax and just I think sometimes stopping and say it's okay. I realize that this has been happening and I really don't want to do it. I want to focus on something else. It's just it's not because this is what I've dealt with. I was dealt with this face. I was dealt with this nose, with this teeth, with this whatever arms. I was dealt with it. What am I going to do about it? So that's also it's because not some people don't have yet a goal like compete. It also takes a certain personality. Like you have a personality. You were a competing athlete since I met you. You were not an athlete, but it was just finding your sport. Some people are just competing athletes, just finding what they need to compete with. Some people are not, and that's okay too. Knowing who you are, so finding something that you can get, get to where you're focused, other than that body part, and working on it. Uh, Thinking and rewire your thinking slowly into that goal. So if you like, for me, like when I was running, right, running used to be my sport. It was really I was not I I enjoy competing in races? Yes and no. I did enjoy training. I loved the training. I was looking forward to my training. I knew that's my long running day, that's my short running day, that's my heels. Now I did take things a little too much, talking about too much of a good thing. So I overtrained. Anything I do, I do overboard. I overtrained. I didn't do the right thing. But nevertheless, I that's a different issue, and we'll discuss that topic too. But I was training, and I always knew that being tall is not necessarily great for runners because you carry so much of your body, and it's harder. But nevertheless, I never liked my certain body. I wish I had shorter legs that was smaller. I was a smaller frame, but that's what I was dealt, and I enjoyed the process. So finding something that you like to do, either it's being in the gym or being outside, being outdoor, finding something that you like to do, it will definitely help you take the focus away from it. And before you know it, you're like, oh my gosh, did I? You may have not even changed that body part, but because you are not hyper focused on that one piece of your body or skin or whatever it may be anything, maybe you have anything, then you realize, okay, well, it's not so bad. You kind of like when your mind thinks differently, it becomes your reality, and all of a sudden you may have different issues, but it definitely helps to change your mind by looking into a new way to think and just trying different ways to think, rewire your mind so your thoughts are flowing in a different direction.
Yeah, and I agree, and I think it's so nice that we both can obviously talk about this because I think there's sometimes false expectations um, with some women, especially the ones that are just either fresh into fitness or the ones that are have been into fitness but don't really maybe may not understand or talk to some of the fitness professionals. Being a fitness professional does not, you're not immune to it. You know what I mean? That's I just want to put that out. Like just because you are a coach or a trainer or even a group fitness, instructor, it doesn't matter. That's your job, right? This is what we do. We are not
Yes,
immune to it. We are just we have the same either we had the same insecurities or we still have certain insecurities. The difference is we went through the journey, we understand where the pitfalls are, and we're able to navigate them and now are able to teach other people how to go about it. And this is what we're kind of doing because, do I still have my certain moments where I'm like, oh, I wish I was smaller? Sure, once in a while, but then I'm like, oh, fuck this shit. You know what I can do with my frame, holy but Jesus, like
right, right.
like I wish if when I was younger, I could look into the future. Like, I'm like, if I
But we
knew what I can
cannot.
do now, oh my God, I would
But
never think this. It's
well,
amazing.
yes, but we cannot. And just one more thing, like for people that like when you're starting a new journey, when you're starting, and this just comes from the experience. And I like to stick to fitness because that's some nutrition, health, because that's my area of expertise. But talking just in general as being older, we sometimes we need to go through the journey. We've got to make a process. So when I
Hmm.
meet with someone who's brand new, and they would say like, I'm like, and I would always ask, me, why, what, how can I help you? What do you need? It's always my question. And someone would say to me, you know what, I want to lose weight. I do not start digging deeper. Like, well, let's see why. Because
No, of course
sometimes,
not.
but
They don't
when I'm
know.
saying so, don't like, so for the people that are listening, like, well, you know what? Okay, I'm glad that they're saying that I need to find the deeper goal. But you know what? I don't have the deeper. I just want to lose weight because I just want to lose weight. I don't want to gain weight. I just want to lose weight, especially now that I'm sitting home. Great. So to me, if you don't have just it's okay not to being able to relate to a topic. Okay,
Right.
so I let people because it eventually will all in one way or the other stumble over the same insecurities. Maybe they manifest them in a different way. Maybe it's not hyper focusing on a body part, but rather on something else. But we still get stuck. So I think those little steps that we're talking about hyper focusing, period, your mind,
Hmm.
it will be there, and no one is immune to it. It's very important to recognize it early on and talk about it or hear someone talking about it. Sometimes even hearing someone talking about it, oh, it's real. Someone else is dealing with that. Good. I am not crazy or I am not that weird. So I think it helps when you know you're not alone.
Yeah,
So that.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, no, I agree with you. And kind of touching base on what you said, in terms of clients, and I agree because, same thing, like if when one of the clients I worked with, it was the same thing. It's like majority want to just lose weight. That's all they want to do is it's always the goal is always to lose weight. And that's not bad. That's okay if that is the goal. But it is us as professionals, we are the ones who are driving and allowing the individual to experience the journey. And we also allow them to understand that deeper meaning, right? And so a lot of times when you do start out just with that very hyper focused goal, it is a hyper focused goal
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
you want to lose this because you want to get a flatter stomach or you want this or that.
Yes,
And as you're
because
going through the process, eventually, little by little, the person that you're working with, they eventually themselves say, hey, you know what, I realized I really like feeling stronger. Like,
hmm
I never
yes,
thought I can lift this kind of weight, or I never thought I could exercise for an hour, right? Like
right,
these things,
yes,
and they're like, I am, but you, and you're like, exactly, this is what you're focusing on. This is your, almost in a sense, this is your real why. Like these are the things that are going to drive
absolutely.
you to succeed and for you to have better days. And when you don't have a good day and you're kind of still, in a sense, stuck in a rut, think about it. Think about it like,
But
why are you exercising? Think about how you felt. Think about how amazing your body, felt, and
it,
and how proud you were,
right,
like that you
yes,
were able to complete this particular class or this
it,
particular workout or lift this amount of weight. And once you start focusing on that, right, as a end goal in a sense or byproduct, you really start to shift your mind a little bit into not being as hyper focused on how you look in a sense. So
and it brings you to that next because it's always, I always like to think about the fitness or life in general as work in progress because I don't want to think never about the end product. Like, okay, we arrived there because to me, the end product will all end up in a box. And I
that's
don't want to
right.
talk about it. We're going to talk about aging eventually, but yes, I always want to think about work in progress. When you don't have things to work on, I become scared because is that it for me? I need something to work towards something. For me, it was always work in progress that I enjoyed. So as for our clients, when they come to us, and with very like single one direction goal, or very close end goal, like losing weight or get a flatter stomach. Yes, it's very hyper focused. Notice on one body part, tighter butt, flatter stomach, a smaller thigh, whatever. It's hyper focused. Yes, that's fine, but it's thinking where once you get there, what the fuck you're gonna do with it? What you're gonna do with it? There's not so, and I think it's important that eventually, when I see the people realizing they have more to work towards, then it becomes for me extremely satisfying. I feel accomplished because I let them to where they can. It's gonna be a never-ending inspiration, either with me or without, to drive to try something else, something else. Then they're gonna stick with fitness, stick with self-care, with being in tune with yourself, with taking care of yourself, and just keep on being, the best they can be for themselves. Time with their partners, with their children, with their families, whatever it might be. But I think it's important that and when I think sometimes when we talk about loving yourself, or being in touch with yourself, I think this is part of it, because it's very multidimensional, self-love or self-care. But this is part of it. I mean, knowing what you need in order, and having this continuation of your journey, or of your I don't development progress. You got to be constantly in progress to get somewhere. Otherwise, it
I
becomes
know.
very
Yeah.
very what's the word? I guess sad, almost, like when you don't have a goal. I mean, it's sad. I mean, what are you working towards? You, like, even in your job. I mean, they call it dead end job when you don't have anything. What are you going to do? Okay, you're at your top level, and then next, where's your promotion? Same thing, right? In
So
fitness.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no, no. I definitely agree, and I think this is kind of what we always talk about, is that the only thing that's constant is change, right?
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
it's either you are growing, or, like you said, you are dying in a sense. So yes, you're always, no matter what the goals are, and usually, even if the goal is weight loss, or even if the goal is that race, right? It's like, hey, look at this. I'm gonna go do this race. And then you do the race, and you're happy, right, for a second or two, and then that happiness goes away, but guess what stays? It is that process that you just went through. Think, you have to go back almost a little bit, and sometimes just savor those moments, right? It's saving the moments of leading up to that goal, because during that process, that is where your habits are being formed. This is where you are being really shaped, and you grow. And you don't grow from getting to that top of that mountain, right? And saying, "Oh, I made it great." No, it's that entire long journey that you had to go through all of those bumps, right?
Hmm.
Everyone goes through the bumps. It doesn't matter what the journey is. You go through, you going up, you're going to fall down, you're going to go up, you're going to fall down, and then eventually you reach to that top of whatever your goal is. But guess what? Once you reach, how do you get down? You got to go down.
Right,
So it doesn't matter. It doesn't end.
right, right. And
the
then
the
finding
earth
new
the
mountain to
earth is
climb.
round. It is not flat. You can't fall off.
Right, right,
So it's kind of like your journey. Yeah. Yeah. So I agree with you. And yeah, it goes down to, again, like, just loving the process, and it's self-care. That self-care and self-love is, like you said, it is knowing what what makes you happier, and what it is that you need to, to even de-stress, because de-stress is self-love, right? Lots of people
right.
don't know what they can do to really de-stress. I mean, I know for me, I gotta work out. I gotta train myself, no matter what. The world, it could be freaking fire outside. I don't care. If I do not take care of me, even for an hour, I can't take care of my children. I can't take care of anyone else, because the entire world is going to be burning then. Do you know what I mean?
Right,
In me, like
right,
around me. This is something I realized with me, and this is something that people, obviously, through time or through their journeys, will realize as well. Is it is that self-care. It's not being
right,
selfish. It is selfish in a way, but it's not being selfish, because if you as an individual, if you as a mom or a parent cannot be healthy, and we'll discuss, obviously, that's a different topic, to understanding between health and fitness and physique, what a lot of people kind of almost lump some together. But
hmm,
understanding that, your own health is a priority. You being
Right.
healthy, you being physically able to be healthy and mentally. And it's not only, a lot of times we so focus on our bodies, right? But guess what? Your body's a byproduct of your mind. So it's being mentally healthy physically, like your
Right.
mental health in a sense, where you are training almost your brain to do things is a reflection of what then your body looks like.
Yes, it's
So,
definitely a scientific fact and not just our opinion. It's
yeah.
extremely true that our mind can be trained just as a muscle. You train your muscle in a different way, and exactly, and your self care changes. And again, and I think that we'll discuss the topic further as you get older, as an athlete, as a woman, as a person. I don't know why I only talk about as a woman. I don't know how men get older, and who gives a shit about that. But as an athlete and as a woman, as a person, when you get older, your self care, believe it or not, changes a little bit. It doesn't. Recognizing those signs, some people can relate, some cannot. It's very important. Just like recognizing little things about, today's topic, hyper focusing on one body part, recognizing, yes, I do hyper focus on that. Well, I never talked about, but I do. Well, maybe it's not so bad, but maybe it is. So maybe I can find a different focus. So recognizing recognizing what you need is very important early on at any age. So I think that, that's what it boils down to. And I also noticed that we went through a lot of things that we previously talked about, like habit formation,
Hmm.
how to stick to your routine. And it's all like today we're talking about a different topic, but all the other topics, they tie in to this. And I think it's a beautiful thing because everything is, one big chain of one big chain of connections, one big
Hmm.
chain of things that lead to you being understanding what you need or what you are or how things work. It is very true. So I'm glad that we are like using the same concept or talking about the same concept as it relates to a different topic.
Absolutely. And I think this is kind of, it's nice that you actually just brought this up about that, it's not that all you need is a diet to lose weight or all you need is to exercise to lose weight, right? Those are small parts of a bigger picture. And I think of your fitness as a puzzle. You cannot complete a puzzle with only two pieces when, let's say, the puzzle is 10 pieces, right? You need all of those components to make it whole and to
Yep.
make it strong and for it to you actually to see the beauty. And that's the beauty of fitness is that you need to combine so many different aspects besides nutrition, besides your diet, your sleep, stress management, your self-care. There are so many of these pieces that we need to work on independently to make us almost like whole and to
Whole.
feel, yeah, to make us whole and feel healthy. And that is part of health.
Health. And I
So,
think like wellness, I mean, the word, I really like certain words. It's funny because in English, it's not my first language, obviously, right? But certain words like, could you tell it's not my first language? Yes, you could tell. It's
no,
hard to
not
say that
really.
it's not your first language. That's one of the things that I'm always so insecure talking about the like little things I'm focused on. I don't like the way I speak. I mean, my language, and I try to learn different words and so just so you're not hyper focused on my accent, but talking about words. So certain words speak to me, like the word wellness. I really like that word, wellness. It has everything in it. It has fitness, it has health, it has mental stability or mental
Hmm.
strength, emotional, I guess, emotional foundation, that the one that allows you to just not go deep off of deep end on one way or another, just hold it all together
Right.
emotionally. So I do like the word wellness. So yes, it all becomes a puzzle. Wellness is a puzzle. And sometimes, believe it
Absolutely.
or not, you gotta let it go, you gotta walk away, and maybe you gotta talk to somebody who is just can help you put that puzzle together. Sometimes walking away from the puzzle or letting someone else look at your puzzle like a coach or maybe a trusted friend. I don't know, someone, but you'll know and help you figure out the pieces. Sometimes it takes a long time to actually see how they work, but being okay with being
Hmm.
patient about it and being, just trusting the process that it will all come together eventually is important. It's hard to just it's just the words to someone, but eventually it becomes not just the words, but really a true deep meaning. So,
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. And I think the biggest kind of takeaway from what we just discussed, is, with with the body image, and the hyper focusing. I mean, the best things I think that a person can do, and if they need to do something right now, is I think we've kind of put together a few things. One is obviously make a list about something that you like about yourself or something that your body has done for you that you're proud of. I think once you write that down on some piece of paper, having that reminder, especially when you have sometimes those days where you're like, oh, I
yes,
wish I looked a certain way or whatever, that could
writing
be a
things
great
down.
reminder for you of what it is that you and your body has accomplished. You know what I mean? You got to celebrate those victories. You really do. And no matter how small the victory is, it is a victory. You would never have gotten to that small victory if you didn't go through this process of your journey and your fitness. And so you definitely should be, celebrating them and writing those down. The other thing again is focusing on the process of what it is that you love in fitness. Think about it. Like what do you do right now that you totally love? Like, do you love fitness and you love going into group fitness? Do you like lifting weights on your own? Right? Do you like running outside? Do you like competing? There's so many different outlets that people do. Sometimes people love yoga. They're yogis, and that's nothing wrong with that. It
Mm,
could be a combination of everything. And
visit, yes,
you gotta, yeah, it's that focus
gotta
not on
find
the
it.
end goal, but it's focusing on, hey, I love this process. I love going in and doing the following things, and it just makes me feel better. I feel stronger. Like tune in to how you feel, once you're done that particular workout, that you typically do, and think about it. How did that just made you feel? And tune into it, and that's a huge deal. And of course, as always, we're big advocates, I think, on keeping track, not a track, but almost like focusing on your athletic, almost like your athletic pursuits. Like, hey, how much weight can you lift now? Are you lifting more weight? Like, can you do more reps? Are you able to do a real push-up? Are you able to do, a pull-up? Like certain fitness goals, these should be your really main focus goals that you're trying to achieve almost. And as a byproduct, you're going to get ultimately your goal of losing weight or whatever, a certain look that you're trying to achieve. That's going to be your byproduct of things.
Or some kind of a self acceptance that, and then believe it or not, once you self accept, you actually don't realize, oh my God, I actually reached that goal. But at this point, you know what? I realized that it wasn't really what I wanted. But again, you have to go through the process and just little by little before you see that bigger picture, the one that we talked about.
Absolutely. So if you guys like the content, please subscribe, leave us a comment. We are again more than happy to hear any sort of topic and discuss any topic that you'd like for us to talk about. We already gotten some comments from viewers that actually wanted us to discuss, and we appreciate, definitely keep coming those comments in. And again, if you are a mom who actually is into fitness, has been lifting, and you have a wonderful story you'd like to share with us, please do so. You can send us an email. You have all of our social accounts, and we'd be more than happy to listen to you.